presidential candidate. I've had the head of the DNC. I've had the old head and the new head. Now, I need to understand something here. Matter of fact, I had two old heads and the new head. So I need to understand something. Speaker Pelosi, how is it that everybody else can do black media, but you can't?
Right. That's
So
right.
the reason I'm saying that is because we have to be insistent saying, no, y'all not going to diminish us and ignore us because we are going to ask things others will not ask. And this is why I tell people, black folks, stop marginalizing black media and then call us when you in trouble.
That's right. That's right.
See, so that's why I fight. That's why my deal is like, no, hell no. We gonna have our cameras at the news conference. We gonna be front and center. You're not gonna put us in the back. And so, because if we do not have a robust black-owned media, and I you look, before the New York Times and MSNBC was calling you and Latasha, there was a time they were not calling y'all.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And when I was like, yo, I'm putting y'all on Tom Joyner.
That's right.
I'm putting y'all on TV One. And see, that's what white media does.
Right.
So what they'll do is they'll then all of a sudden discover folks. And then what I tell folk, when they discover you, don't act like we don't exist.
That's right.
And
That's
I've
right.
had that experience, Cliff. I've had folk. Oh no! I'm too good.
I've moved on from that.
Oh yes, no. I mean, I ain't go. There's been a significant civil rights person. This person ignored my show for 3 years. I had to call him out on Twitter.
What?
Then all of a sudden, no. It was 4 years, and I'm sitting there like, hold up. I've got all these other civil rights leaders who I got on speed dial, who I can call at any time. But you too good for us,
right?
But you showing up on MSNBC and CNN, but you can't come talk to us. Oh no, Doc, no. And see, I'll check people because if people are like, man, why you got to be petty? I said, no, it's not petty. It's respect.
That's right. It's
accountability. There you go.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I think that's an example too. Like, you mentioned how even within our community, sometimes we undervalue black media, and you get the folks who have arrived, they've gotten large or whatever, they've moved on and they start to disrespect black media. I wonder this, sometimes people say to me, you always talk about race, and I'd be like, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Because, I don't mind being, there's the terminology, I know, the history of it, the race man, right? Yeah. The person who's going to give the race analysis, who's going to be the black first analysis.
Well, see, here's what I don't understand. Tom Cotton talk about race.
That's right. That's right.
Ted Cruz talk about race.
That's right.
Rand Paul talk about race.
That's right. Identity politics, right?
What gets me is folk always want to say, why you always talk about race? Well, why racist shit happen? See, this is real simple. If the stuff doesn't happen, then I can't talk about it.
That's right. Right.
This is real simple. If you say, Roland, why you and Byron Allen and Todd Brown and why y'all going so hard against these companies when it comes to advertising? Because they ain't spending money with black-owned media. Now, they love black people buying their products, but they're not spending money.
That's right.
So we hit General Motors. Hold up. We make up 12% of the people who buy y'all cars, but y'all been spending 1%. I'm sorry. Where I come from, that's called inequity. And so people go like, well, why you bring that? Well, do you have to bring it up? Yes. And they said, well, can we not? I said, sure. Spend more.
That's right.
See, it's not hard. See, what they want to do is, they want us to just shut up. They want us to shut up, be quiet. They don't want us to point these things out. But every person in America should be a race person, because if you understand American history, American history is deeply rooted and embedded in race.
Right.
So it's like, I'm sorry, why are we sitting here dancing around this? Show me any category, I will show you where race is involved. Black people early on did not get addicted to opioids because white doctors refused to prescribe the powerful opioids to black people because they thought we were trying to go there and get high.
Right.
So they started prescribing. Then the white folks were dying on opioids, dropping dead left and right because of opioids. But the white doctors were not prescribing to us. And I said once, I said to the white doctors, thank you very much. That's the one time racism helped black people.
That's right. That's right.
And now granted, the numbers have changed, and now we've seen it. But the point is, they would y'all take Tylenol.
Right.
We're gonna get a white person OxyContin.
Right.
Now realizing they got hooked on the OxyContin.
That's right.
And so race is deeply embedded. And for people who go, why you always seeing race? Open your eyes. It's sitting right in front of you. If I'm in an office and I look at, like right now, everybody's all upset because Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said, I'm gonna only give interviews to black and brown reporters. That ain't fair. Well, hold up. Were any of y'all yelling and screaming about the lack of diversity in your newsrooms? See, Spike Lee did this years ago. Spike, I think it was Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee said, I forgot which movie it was, but I think it was Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee said, I'm not doing any interviews with any magazines that have no black staffers.
Right.
Man, folk got upset, but guess what happened? The magazines looked up and they went, hold up, damn, we ain't got no black people.
That's right.
For the first, they were so clueless that they refused to acknowledge, hold up, when we need to look for black staffers, oh damn, we don't have any. Spike Lee forced magazines to go hire black freelancers and writers because they had none. Right. So if Spike accepted the white writers and not challenged their discrimination, their bigotry, then how does the game change?
Right.
That's why you can't ignore race.
That's right. That's right. Something you said a minute ago where you talk about if it wasn't existing, I wouldn't have to be talking about it. And it just reminded me of Ida B. Wells. People are like, why you always talk about lynching? Because there are bodies hanging.
Right.
What you expect me to write?
If you end the lynching, then I got to talk about something else. But the movie was Malcolm X when Spike Lee did. But that's the whole deal. If you stop lynching, see, here's the real deal, Cliff. Folk, America. When I say America, I mean this is everybody, even within the black community. People hate accountability.
That's right.
Everybody loves talking about accountability, but they don't really, really, really like accountability.
I got it.
And so when they say, "Well, I just don't understand, man. Why are y'all making a big deal out of this? Do black people make up 20% of your consumers?" Well, yeah. So why are you spending 0.5%? If you Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are black people over indexing on your platforms, so are you spending money with black content creators? Are you spending money? And don't give me that, okay, everything is STEM. Reverend Jackson already broke that down. 60% of all Silicon Valley jobs are non-engineering jobs. So Silicon Valley, so Wall Street, so all these firms who all of a sudden now want to give money to Black Lives Matter. See, no, that's philanthropy. What I'm talking about is investment. See, it's like America. America has always wanted to give aid to Africa, but not investment to Africa. So they want to give aid to Black America, but not give investment to Black America. And see, here's the whole deal. If they properly gave Black America investment, then Black America can turn around and actually give to our own institutions.
Right.
See, the NAACP, let me just go ahead and put it out there, and I don't care. Facts are facts. The NAACP does not exist without corporate donations, which means that the NAACP cannot fully go hard for Black America because it's being funded by corporate America. Yet, if Black people and NAACP force these companies to say, no, we're not taking your crumbs. We're not taking 0.5%. We're not taking 1%. Let's just take media. If you got $170 billion being spent in media and 1% is going to Black-owned media, that's $1.7 billion, meaning out of all companies, all Black-owned media, totally $1.7 billion. If we go from 1% to 10%, that means that every year, Black-owned media, just Black-owned media, would be getting $17 billion. versus 1.7.
That's right.
Meaning in 1 year, Black-owned media would get what it would take 10 years to get.
That's right.
Now, what does that mean? So that means that if Roland Martin Unfiltered and the digital network I'm about to launch, if I go from 2-3 million a year to now 50 million a year, I can then go and hire 30 Black journalists to report across the country by myself. So that's think about it, that's just me. Now all of a sudden, that's 30 journalists. Now all of a sudden, I'm diversifying media. Now I'm able to give to HBCUs. I can give to Black Voters Matter. I can give to the UNCF. So the condition that Black America is in, because you asked about Black power at the outset, is if we are forever in a position of only receiving aid and not investment, we will never be able to fund our own community.
That's right. That's right. I learned one of the things I learned years ago, especially when we actually created a third party in Alabama in Dallas County. And one of the lessons I learned real quick was that independent politics requires independent money. That's one of the things that I've always liked and been intrigued by you is that we oftentimes when we're talking about Black power and strategies for power, sometimes it's a political strategy or it's economic strategy, right? And sometimes those two things are hostile, or at least the people that are arguing, are hostile. Like you got folks that say, "Oh, it's all about the money. We got to do the money," and they leave it. They want to leave the politics alone. Like, I'm not going to get involved. I'm going to stay neutral, but it's just green. Green money only got one color. You got those folks, and then you got folk who are heavy on the politics, but we're not thinking about those numbers you just ran through, them investment numbers, right, and them ad numbers and all that stuff. And so finding that intersection is sometimes tricky, and you seem to live in that space.
Well, because here's the deal. This is what I tell people first, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be convoluted or tricky because it's basic. If I tell people all the time, if you come to Washington, D.C., and if you stand in front of the White House, I want you to look to your left. There is a building that is if you look to your left. This happened, man, about 20 years ago. I was in D.C. I was here late at night. I couldn't sleep. I decided to go for a walk, and I'm standing in front of the White House, and I'm like, what is that? And again, so I walk over and I said, damn, that's the Treasury Department. And Cliff, it hits me. I look right. I look at the White House. I look left. I look at Treasury. I look right. I look at the White House. I look left. I look at Treasury. I go, wait a minute. Treasury is the only federal agency that shares a lawn with the White House. You can walk 100 steps out the side of the Treasury Department and you'll be walking into the East Wing. They could literally play flag football or kickball on the front lawn of the White House between the Treasury Department and the White House. And then if you look across the street from the Treasury Department, literally right across the street is Bank of America. Then if you begin to look in a 2-block radius of the White House, you will realize that the multiple number of banks that are located in those spaces. So I went White House power, Treasury money, Treasury money, White House power. To understand America, you can never ignore the money.
That's right.
See, what people keep misunderstanding about Dr. King, his speech on August 28, 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, that was a radical economic speech. If people really pay attention to him, the last 5 years of his life, he understood the economics. If they spend the time to listen or read the 43-minute and 16-second speech he gave at Mason Temple on April 3rd, 1968, he lays out an economic blueprint in there where he said we will redistribute the pain. He talked about SCLC opening a bank account in a Black bank. When he talked about supporting Black businesses. That's the whole deal. Coretta Scott Kings often said they killed my Martin when he started talking about the money.
That's right.
They didn't mind Martin talking about voting.
That's right.
They said, fine, you can talk about public accommodations. But when he started talking about the money, that was a problem. I need people to understand, In 1960, when King and others went to Kennedy to propose the Civil Rights Bill, it was a massive civil rights bill. Public accommodations,